Hello and welcome to the brand new PUBCAST, episode 1. I'm Dan Mounts, so delighted to be joined by my co-host Greg Mitchell. It's a brand new PUBCAST by the fans, with the fans and for the fans, and we're going to be talking about the return of football at last alongside the coronavirus pandemic. A bit later on we'll be hearing from fans in this country and abroad, and also getting the thoughts of former Nottingham Forest, Fulham and Middlesbrough goalkeeper Mark Crossley. Looking forward to it, mate?
Yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? Without trying to sound like Billy Davis, but it had to come back. You know, as much as we want to pack out the stadiums, it weren't going to happen this season, and this season had to finish. So it's the best of a really bad situation.
It's going to be strange, though, isn't it? Like, you know, having football on, not being able to go, watching on TV. I mean, you've watched quite a lot of the Bundesliga stuff, haven't you, as well? And they've been piping in the sound and things.
Yeah, I couldn't get into it at the start, but you know, I've watched a few games and you find yourself drifting in and out. But when it's our team, when it's your team, whichever team that is, you're gonna be behind it. I mean, I've seen people saying, "Oh, I don't want to get promoted behind closed doors." You try watching your team on TV and thinking, "I hope they lose this game." It's not going to happen.
Yeah, but imagine like if your team gets to the playoff final and you cannot go to Wembley to watch your team. I mean, it's going to be soul destroying, surely.
Yeah. But you're not going to want to lose that semi-final, are you?
I know what you're saying, but for me, being able to get to Wembley, and go and watch Nottingham Forest would just be fantastic. You know, I wasn't born in the era to see the great times and everything else, so just that one day out, it'd be a typical Forest thing to do, to get there and nobody could go.
Someone said to me that we'll get to Wembley, first time ever been to the new Wembley.
Yeah, never been.
We'll get promoted, we'll spend a year in the Premier League behind closed doors, then get relegated. We're back for another 20 years.
At least not American parents, I suppose.
But you know, as long as you can have a few mates around there, you can get into it. It's going to be good.
Let's have a look what some of you think about football coming back, albeit behind closed doors.
The football is back, finally. It's going to be a bit different. No one in the stands, so it's going to be a bit odd, but safety first, small steps. I'll be watching every game on iFollow live, here from Brooklyn, New York, representing Nottingham Forest, New York City. Stay safe out there, everybody, and let's get this promotion. Come on, you Reds.
Can't wait for football to be back. Go on, Leicester.
I'm not really sure how to feel about football coming back. On the one hand, it'll be great to see Forest play again, and I hope we can get great results and, you know, potentially get promoted. But on the other hand, the biggest thing to me about football is the match day experience and the atmosphere that the fans create.
Hope everyone's doing all right out there and you're staying safe. I have to admit it's been a bit of a mad 3 months of lockdown, especially without football, to keep us sane. 100% is the right decision to cut the football, to make sure that everyone's safe, the footballers are safe, the fans are safe. But hopefully over in Germany there's a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. They're showing us the way to show that football could be brought back, and I'm really looking forward to the return of the Championship season. It's not going to be quite the same behind closed doors, on TV and sitting in your garden with your mates all spaced out around the garden. It's going to be a bit strange, but it's going to be better than nothing, as I say. And Brentford have got a playoff campaign that we need to start. Hopefully we'll carry on the way we left off and we manage to get into the playoffs, and it's going to be typical that the one season that Brentford may, I'm not saying they will, win the playoffs, you can't actually be there to celebrate it. It's going to be gutting, but to be fair, I suppose it's going to be better than nothing. So come on, let's see the season back and let's enjoy it. Good luck to you all.
Hi there, I'm Gary and I quite clearly support Tottenham Hotspur. The reason I'm looking forward to the season starting again mostly is so that we can go back to being put through the pain and misery and the high blood pressure that we experience on a weekly basis being a Spurs fan, and also, secondly, most importantly, or maybe most importantly, so a step closer to the pubs reopening. Yeah.
I'm not really looking forward to it too much because I think without fans, football is absolutely nothing. We are the lifeblood of it. We are the ones who generate the money. We have gone through absolutely thick and thin. And I think the prospect of Nottingham Forest potentially getting to Wembley and being in the playoff final, whether we win it or lose it, and having that empty feeling of watching a team, your team, at Wembley without you being there is something that just doesn't sit right with me. So I personally think that we should leave it a little bit longer when it's safe for supporters to return, whenever that may be. But ultimately, football's a money game and they want it back as soon as possible.
Can't wait for football to be back. Come on, you Spurs!
Football's on its way back. Come on, you Blues! Cop-outs are gobshites.
Yeah, I think like most football fans, I'm definitely excited for football to come back. It will be a nice bit of excitement during lockdown, and I think myself, like many other football fans, will welcome it with open arms. At the same time, there's a lot of mixed feelings. Part of the reason why I love following Forest is the camaraderie, meeting up with mates before the game in the pub, and I think that'll be a massive miss, particularly if we do get to the playoffs and maybe even the playoff final. But having said that, it's a unique scenario, and I think this kind of football is better than no football at all.
Football's coming back, shouting at the man in black. Although I'm sure I'll miss that Trent Bridge burger smell of the numerous pints of San Miguel. He'll probably feel quite alone only watching at home, but at least we'll get our fix being able to watch every single kick. So bring on the remaining games in the hope of more joy than pain, until the time we as fans can go to the world famous City Ground again. Come on, you Reds.
What on earth was that about?
Well, I think there's kind of excitement, isn't there, that football's back, and then there's a bit of trepidation or sort of mixed feelings that yes, it's back, but we can't go. So I think they covered it quite well there, in the sense that I'm absolutely buzzing it's back. I've got all the football fixtures written on my calendar already. Looking forward to watching it all again. But it will be strange not seeing the fans there, and without fans, football's nothing, as we know. So obviously Carl mentioned their safety first as well, which is great. But do you think potentially, if they could do it, they could perhaps get a few fans in, distanced out?
Are you going to choose?
Like golden tickets, isn't it? Surely, like
Premier League games are all sold out anyway. There's going to be fans going. If you let some in, others are going to be at the gates waiting and outside, and it's going to be interesting because everyone in Germany seems to have abided by the rules so far. There's been no instances of fans outside, and I think it will be the same here. But are you telling me when Liverpool win the league or when Leeds get promoted, those fans aren't heading straight for the ground? The passion overtakes any common sense in football.
I think you make a good point there, because if Liverpool can win the title at Everton, it's in the same city. I mean, we still don't know at present time whether it's going to be a neutral ground or whether it's going to be at the ground itself. But people are going to go out to the streets surely and congregate and whatever. So it's going to be very difficult. That might be a gauge as to how perhaps the other leagues do it in terms of when teams are going to win the title.
There's no way games are getting cancelled because fans are outside the gates.
No.
The TV companies talk, the money talks. For me, it's going to happen. It's how they control it. And I think it will be sensible for the first few weeks, but like I say, it's when it's going to be that first title won or promotion won. Things will change. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how it works really, and how the fans react to different scenarios as well. And I mean, I can foresee some people going outside the ground, and even whilst the game's on, and even if it's just to let a firework or something. But that's just what people do, isn't it? You're never going to be able to stop anybody going within 2 mile radius of the ground. It's just impossible. It'll be interesting to see, certainly with the Premier League games as well, with more fans being there, as to whether they can stay away or whether they do turn up.
It's one of those cliches, but with a lot of Premier League fans, no disrespect, a lot of them watch the games on TV anyway, aren't they? It's like they're quite used to it, where it's a lot of the lower leagues, like say the Championship, where most of those passionate fans are used to going week in, week out, and I think that's where the real change in getting used to it. I mean, I've got friends who are the biggest Forest fans who are struggling to say I'm going to even watch it, and I can't comprehend that myself, but I can understand where they're coming from.
Yeah, I think it's just adapting, isn't it? It's adapting as a supporter as well, from going down to going across Trent Bridge, going into the ground, the smell of the burgers, all that sort of stuff. You can smell the grass when you walk in. I just think sitting at home watching it, okay, brilliant, you can still watch it and chat to your friends online or whatever, but it's just not going to be the same.
There's going to be some cracking garden parties. I know it's only 6 per house or whatever, but you're allowed now, aren't you? You can watch it with your mates. There's going to be ways. There's going to be new and interesting ways of making this season memorable, but it's hopefully going to be the only ever one we have to.
Barbecue at yours, yeah?
Yeah, definitely. Last week I caught with my mate Mark from Dortmund, one of the biggest Dortmund fans I know, and his thoughts about what's gone on with the behind closed doors games in Germany so far.
To be honest, I found it pretty boring. It's like watching fishes or birds in the woods just going from the left to the right. It says, "Oh yeah, there are the birds, wonderful." So it's quite maybe interesting, but it had nothing to do with the football I love, and I would like to see. It's just like maybe like a test match. So no one is no atmosphere. No one is excited, and I started watching after 15 minutes because I watched the last horse race before. So I think this says pretty much how much I'm interested in football at the moment.
Yeah, because usually obviously the season should be over by now. It's unprecedented what's gone on.
Yeah.
But football's come back, and it's come back without the supporters. You've had that in Germany before, obviously, for numerous reasons. Crowd trouble often gets stadiums or part of stadiums shut. We don't really see that in England, so it's a new experience for us. And most German fans okay with it? Are they happy the football's back, or?
I think it's half and half. I think many people are not happy, but satisfied that they can watch football in the weekends, and other like me are just bored and say this is terrible shit. But for many, I think it's the best option. But it's completely strange. It has nothing to do with football that we know, and I can't imagine watching this for weeks or maybe months, because I'm not involved in it in any way. It's football. Football without fans is nothing. So obviously this is nothing. What they do in Germany in the TV broadcast is that they have an audio with singing fans from the past. So you see empty stadiums and hear fans roaring. And I watched it for 5 minutes, and it's unbelievable shit, because you hear fans singing and you see empty seats, and you say, okay, that's too hard for me. My eyes can't believe what they see. So I switched back to the normal audio without any fans.
Oh, you have a choice.
Yeah, you have a choice. Yes, you have a choice. But it's so strange. But the whole situation is so strange, and I would love to go to a football match, meeting friends and drinking beer.
Yeah.
Coming over to Nottingham, celebrate promotion. Having a drink in some pubs, and that's what football is about. Many of my friends I've met at football matches like you, and that's what football is about, and not about watching millionaires kicking around. That's okay. That's a central part of the match. It's okay. It's fine, but it's just one part.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more with everything you're saying, really. And, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, especially over in England. And you mentioned the crowd noises being pumped in. Borussia Mönchengladbach, they have a fantastic idea to raise money, to raise like much needed funds for local charities, wasn't it? Where they let people send in a photo, and they printed out their picture and put it on a seat, and they made thousands. But we don't want to start seeing, a fake crowd in there, because it gives them a reason to continue doing things for longer.
Yeah, and I think the situation is shit. So be a man and accept it's being shit, and don't try to change it with other shit. Realize it's completely shit.
So that was Mark there from Dortmund, and we think he thinks it's pretty shit. So Dan, I'll ask you the same question. Forest don't make the playoffs. You're at the game. Forest at Wembley, get promoted. They're in the Premier League next season, but you haven't seen it.
It's a hard one because you obviously want your team to get promotion. But for me, I mentioned it earlier at the start of the show, I think, honestly, truthfully, I prefer to go to the games and get knocked out in the semi. And the reason for that is because if you're going to get promotion through the playoffs especially, you want that day out at Wembley. You want the day with all your mates and having a drink and dancing to Status Quo, rocking all over the world as you come out of the ground. But that's how I envisage it to be, you know, if we did ever make it. And to be able to see them do it at Wembley and no fans be there, it'd be gutting for me.
Yeah. We could apply to be ball boys or something.
Perhaps we could do something, couldn't we, to try and get in? I don't know what we could do.
Mascots, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those awful questions, isn't it? It's like, which one of your kids do you like the most?
Exactly, yeah.
It's one of those questions that hasn't got the easy answer, but I understand both of them. So, mate, we might not get another Forest, might not get another chance to get promoted for 10 years.
Exactly, and I think, especially with it being through the playoffs as well, like you say, it doesn't happen every year, so it's a one-off occasion, and I think, like I say, it's just the whole day of going down there, whether it be on a train or a bus or driving down with mates in a car or whatever. I just think it'd just be such a great day, and to have that taken away from you, I think it would kind of take away the joy of getting promotion, really.
Yeah, I get that. It's
but
just,
at the same
like
time,
I say,
obviously you want to get promotion, so it's difficult.
It's the risk, isn't it? I mean, Mark spoke briefly about Paderborn. They only stayed in their 4th division because another team went bust, and then for the next 3 or 4 seasons they get into the Bundesliga. So you've got to take your chances whilst you're there.
Yeah.
We haven't had this chance since 2002, 2003. Brentford, you know, Billy the Bee, they've never had such a strong team and been this realistically close. And I am, believe it or not, under the same thoughts as you, that I need to be there. I want to see it. I couldn't ever think of us getting promoted without us being there. But where do you take your chances?
I think another good point as well is when you see the fans from the Premier League clubs, they're just sort of buzzing that football's back, aren't they? They're like, oh yeah, football's back, brilliant. Whereas I think the Championship supporting clubs are more like, well, you know, we've got a bit more to play for. Because in Premier League, obviously you've got your Champions League spots, but it pains me to say it, looks like Liverpool are going to win the league. Yeah. But in the Championship, there's a lot more up for grabs really in the playoffs and things. So I got the impression that the Championship supporters were a bit sort of hesitant, like, oh yeah, it's going to be tough and whatever. Whereas Premier League fans are just like, yeah, it's back, brilliant.
The 7 games a day or however many we're going to be watching.
Can't wait.
So I've been watching quite a few of the German games. I think I probably watch more than Mark. That's like his apathy towards these. They call them ghost games, behind closed door games. The first few weeks, you're watching a game, you find yourself looking at your phone, looking at something else. I could paint that wall, but what they've done, which I thought I would be so against, because to me it just sounds so plastic. They've took the technology from like FIFA football games on PlayStation or what have you, and they've piped in. It pains me to say this, and it pains me even more to say that I thought it was good. They've piped in the crowd noises, and it's so realistic that after 5-10 minutes of watching this behind closed door game, you forget what it's about. You just think you're watching a normal game.
But it adds something a little bit extra as well, doesn't it? Because the games I watched initially in the Bundesliga, you could hear them shout, you could hear every single whistle and every single thing that anyone was saying. Whereas I think with a bit of added noise, yes, it's a bit artificial, but like you said, I think it will bring a lot more to it, and I think the Premier League will do that as well.
Oh yeah, without a doubt, definitely will. They've had a few weeks to learn from what's gone right in Germany, haven't they?
But yeah, I mean we're kind of a week, a couple of weeks behind, aren't we, in terms of everything, coronavirus and everything as well. So I think you can learn from other countries and learn what works for them, what doesn't work for them.
We could get the South Korean sex dolls.
Great idea. Perhaps we could dress up as South Korean sex dolls to get to Wembley.
Yeah.
Fine. Sorted. So you've heard from the fans, you've heard from Germany as well, where they're already experiencing it, and now we get to talk to former Premier League footballer, Nottingham Forest, Middlesbrough, Fulham, and international leader for Wales, Mark Crossley. And here's what he had to say to me earlier this week. How do you think they're going to adapt to playing behind closed doors, and obviously with the whole situation with the coronavirus and thing as well? How would, if you were still playing now, how would you be preparing now for football behind closed doors and no fans?
We've been pretty strict at home on the way that we've handled this, and I know a lot of people haven't. You look at the beaches and all that. I'm baffled by it, how it can happen. I honestly, my opinion is I can't see, and I know they're doing loads of testing the other day. I sent a message to Woney. Woney's been tested positive, but he's fine. I spoke to him the other day, ex-teammate, but my own opinion of it is, how seriously are we treating it? Because I can't see football a contact sport. And I know everybody's getting tested and it's been done the right way. So, I might be wrong. But for me, if I was playing, and I listened to Troy Deeney speaking the other day, me coming home to my wife and my two young boys, I'd be very, very wary of doing it. I'd be uncomfortable with it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it was up to you then, if you were in charge of everything, would you have cancelled the season completely and done the points per game situation, or do you think it's a good idea that they're trying to finish it?
I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done. And I'm like everybody. I want to see the football season ended. I'd like to see it, because there's relegations, promotions. I just don't see how they can do it fairly.
Yeah.
Somebody's not going to be happy.
Yeah.
And then along with that, you've got the playoffs. Like I read somewhere the other day, someone was in, it might have been Joy Barton tweeting or something. They're in 10th place or something, 3 points off the playoffs. What, are they just going to get written off with 15 to go? I don't know. So no matter what you do, somebody's not going to be happy. Now, I understand the revenue, and I understand how much money football actually brings to the country. It brings billions and billions and billions of pounds. I can see it from that point of view, but I might be seeing this wrong. I don't see how. I think it should have been cancelled. I think Cheltenham should have been cancelled. I don't think these big events should have gone ahead, and I think we looked at it too lightly, and I think we've felt the brink of it as well.
Yeah, and speaking of playoffs, of course, two of your former clubs, Nottingham Forest and Fulham, both in there at the moment. What do you think their chances are of going all the way?
Every chance. Now, like you mentioned, playing behind closed doors. I'll tell you one thing that I do think, and I saw Matt Letizier's tweet, and me and Matt are in contact for obvious reasons. We're in contact a lot via social media, and I think there's a lot of players, and we'll go back to mental health here, because I've seen it on a regular basis. A lot of players, you see loads of players with loads of talent, unbelievable amounts of talent, on a training field, and we call them training ground players. Cross the white line on a Saturday in front of 25, 30,000 when the pressure's on, and they can't handle it. Now, with no crowd there, you might see the best of these players, because every team has them. Loads of them. So that's going to make it interesting. Are they going to raise their game because no one's watching? Okay, yeah, it's on TV. It's not the same. I've been through it at Forest, thick and thin, when I was in the team as a young player, and crowd turned on me a little bit, and I had to. But lucky enough, I was mentally strong enough to get through it, and things came good in the end. The manager should have took me out of the team when I was struggling, but he didn't. He believed in me. He must have known that I could handle the pressure. There's loads that can't, and they disappear. They throw injuries in. It happens. I've seen it. Yeah. And then you question the mentality of that player. Is he strong enough mentally to handle it? Now you're going to see those type of players raise their game. I'll guarantee it.
So Mark mentioned there that he'd probably cancel, or would have cancelled the whole season if it was up to him. Do you agree with that, or do you have to sit that?
It's powerful, that was, wasn't it? When he talks about Troy Deeney's views and the way, if he's got to have this contact sport and go back to his wife and kids, that's something that you could say almost like a selfish football fan, is forgetting that these have still got families. They're humans, aren't they? And
Exactly.
When someone speaks as powerfully as Big Norm just has, it's hard to have no, let's just play, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
But what I will say is the Premier League and the Championship have put so much in place to make sure the risk is minimal. And talking of mental health, I think it'll be a very good thing to get some decent sport back in the country at the minute, because there's so much going off.
Yeah.
To bring us down, let's have something enjoyable to get us back up.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned there as well that money does talk as well, doesn't it? So I think, because I sort of had a thought that you could perhaps just stop the season as it is now and potentially just start it again in January.
Yeah.
But I think that long gap, I think you'd find that clubs would probably fold.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And I think it's the right decision to try and get it going again, but you've just got to do it as safely as possible. And if that means no supporters are there, then perhaps that's how you have to do it. Anyway, the full interview with Big Norm Mark Crossley is available on SBC TV YouTube channel, where he discusses things Cloughie, his career, coaching, and much more. So make sure you check that out.
Thanks for watching episode 1 of the SBC TV PUBCAST. We've really enjoyed it. Hope you have. If you have, please subscribe, give us a like and comment. Just give us anything, what you think we should do next episode, or whatever you thought of this one.
Even if you thought it was crap, to be fair.
Yeah, did you enjoy it?
I loved it, yeah.
Yeah, oh, good. We've got a real treat for you now. Mark Crossley, the guest this week, is going to take you for a look around some of his most prized possessions since his playing days.
Hold on. Right, Dan. Little surprise just before you go, mate. Right, I've got a little bit of memorabilia you might be interested in here.
Oh, lovely.
Match ball, October the 26th, 1988 versus Liverpool. Signature's a little bit worn, but that was the ball we played with.
Classic.
I'm just looking to my little box here. I might wear this on my neck next time we go out. FA Cup runners-up medal. Should have been a winners. Gaza should have been sent off.
Which challenge, first or second?
Both. Few medals. Johnson's Paint Trophy with Chesterfield. League 2 winners medal with Chesterfield. Proud of these ones. 97-98 under Harry Bassett.
Oh, yeah.
Champions, back to the Premier League. Frank Clark, 92-93, promotion to the Premier League. They all need a little bit of a polish. I found them in the loft yesterday. I'll just show you a little bit of this bit memorabilia stuff I've got here. Look who's on my wall there. There he is, the main man. That's my England under-21 shirt debut. Shirt I wore in the FA Cup final. Shirt I wore for England in the Toulon tournament winners. That was the shirt I wore in the final. This I was given for my 50th birthday as a present, a montage of my shirt from Alan Hill. Not many of them about, mate, is there?
No.
Signed by the gaffer. Alex Ferguson. Debut for Fulham. I know we're away from Forest now, and then there's all my caps. So 3 England under-21 caps. All the teams I played against on there. Russia, Portugal, Czech Republic, and then I've got 8 caps for Wales, but my dad's got 2. My dad's got the last one that I played in, and he's got my debut as well. So there we go. There's my little man cave, mate.
Super. You just need a bar in the corner or a pool table or something now, I think.
Well, I'm off the drink away at the moment, mate. I'm well, apart from the odd glass of wine. Great to speak to you, mate. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed that.
Mate. Thanks a lot for your help and time.
No worries. Take care.
You can't can't cut too many times, else the beer will be down there, and then suddenly wear a different shirt.